today. It's the
Nothing
Good Movies
much.
podcast. Sorry we're starting a little bit early today. Evidently, I screwed up whenever I set the start time for it. I could have swore I put 7 o'clock in, but I don't know if it clicked off of it after. So I apologize to anybody waiting in the chat to watch us go live. I didn't. I looked up and it said it's showtime on the stream yards here, and I was like, "What's going on here?" So that's what's going on tonight. How you doing, Kenny?
Good, John. How are you? How is everybody doing out there tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Yourself? I don't know if Mike's showing up or not. He usually shows up about 10 till most of the time, so he might still show up. So hang on there. We might be rambling around here for a little bit till we get our bearings. So I wasn't ready to take off just yet, so to speak.
Yeah, we'll always have something to talk about. Don't worry about that.
So
So we
go ahead.
no, go ahead, John. We were just
No,
talking
I didn't
about
say
like
nothing.
the Disney what Disney will have coming up. I'm in the Disney Movie Club, and they have Elemental as their featured pick this month. But really, it's going to be slim pickings for Disney Movie Club in the going ahead, unless they keep on re-releasing their catalog.
Yeah, I don't keep up with stuff too much with news and things like that. Some of the other channels do, and I don't usually watch them a whole lot when they talk about it. But um, did Disney really? Didn't they come out with some kind of statement this week saying they were going to cut back on their physical media releases again?
Yeah, I do believe so, but I think what they're going to do because I take a look. I don't buy too much like from their stock because everything is basically what you have already, and like especially like I'm looking forward to the stuff from like that I grew up with in the 70s and 80s, the Wonderful World of Disney movies, and a lot of them are very hard to get, and when they do have them, they're only on DVD format yet. So because there's a couple that I really like want to get by Jim Garner, Casio, Casanova Cowboy, um, Con. There's a couple Jim Garner ones, the Time Spinners, and they're all DVD. So it's like I have nothing against DVD, believe it or not. You know, but oh, there you go, John.
Yeah, yeah. It says 4K physical releases.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've been kind of at the forefront of all the not converting stuff to physical media like because that's the problem with a lot of the Fox catalog because they own Fox now, and that's the reason why we've not been getting a lot of those Fox titles on Blu-ray or 4Ks because freaking Disney. That
Yeah.
company, they just don't know. I don't. They don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. They can't make a movie anymore worth of crap. They don't make any good decisions. I don't know what the heck they.
Yeah, I thought since Iger came back, I thought he was going to be more fan friendly and more, you know, more revolutionary, like releasing this stuff because like all you can get, like especially like with the Marvel series, like Mandalorian, not Mandal, that's Star Trek, Star Wars, sorry. Like the Mandalorian, Boba Fett, they're just starting to come out now with steel books, and before all you could get them was from bootleg companies, And I
Yeah.
love the bootleg companies because they do a good job, and yeah, it's not the original, from the company, but I have bootlegs, and I don't have any problem with them, you know.
Yeah, well, Disney, there for a while, like for I've bought some of like the Pixar stuff, and I guess it's yeah, it was after Disney had bought Pixar, so I'd bought like at one time I had a 3D television, and they had those Blu-ray sets that had like the combo with the I guess the 3D. I don't know if I had that Disney. I think it was just the combos for the DVD and Blu-rays, but they were high like back. just for the Blu-rays. They're like $30 or something for the
Oh wow.
stuff. Yeah, and they were. It's kind of ridiculous what they charged, and
Yeah, I thought Blu-ray. I thought um, the 3D kind of went out with the HD TV ones. The high def discs with the black cases that were
with
around.
the 4K stuff.
No, is that? Am I wrong? It was the HD. They had black cases. It was like right after DVD came into it. They went to like HD,
Well,
and
there
then they
was
went to 4K.
no, there was the predecessor to Blu-ray was the HD DVD,
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
and here's Mike.
Okay.
But sorry,
Hey,
Mike,
Mike.
we had to get started a little bit sooner because I must have screwed up when I put the time in.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what happened. I know I put 7 o'clock in, but it started early for some reason, and
Oh,
I
it's
seen
fine.
somebody was waiting in the chat. He's waiting in the chat for some reason, and
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I went ahead and
doing?
started.
How y'all doing? Good.
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 How are you doing, Mike?
Yeah.
Hanging in there, man. No complaints.
Cool.
No, but the 3D stuff was, I guess, in the late 2000s after kind of about I don't know when the first ones came out, but probably around 2008 or 9 or something, 10 in that range. And I never actually bought a 3D TV. I used to run a little waste transfer station, and somebody brought one in that was quit working, and I asked him, "Well, what's wrong with it?" And he's like, "Well, it just the power comes on, but there's no picture or something like that." And I was like, "Well, just said over here, I'm not full with it." He's like, "Yeah, it's fine." And I bought a new power board for it and fixed it, and had basically like a brand new 55-inch LG with a 1080 with a 3D. So I bought a few there for a while. I bought a few, but the problem with the TVs were you have to be sitting in like the perfect position for it to have any effect. It's not like going to the theater where basically any seat you have 3D effect, but it just wasn't very practical. It wasn't worth spending extra money buying all those discs. The coolest one I bought was probably Predator 3D.
Oh, okay.
It looked pretty cool, but other than that, you had to basically sit 6 feet, exactly 6 feet from the screen, and basically right in the center of the screen. Like it just wasn't very good to me. I mean, if anybody out there has had good experiences with it, I like to hear it. But it's 3D's always been a fad ever since the beginning. I know they still release some here and there, but still the majority of the people go to the 2D screenings more and more, because a lot of people, like before, when I used to have to wear glasses for watching movies, my glasses I wear now just for up close, but when I go to theater, I don't have to wear. But when I had to wear glasses, those 3D glasses are annoying because you got to wear them over top of your glasses, and it's just a lot of people are like that. To me, it's aggravating. And but all the way back since the 50s, it's been a fad. It comes in for a few years and then it goes away.
Were you talking about HD DVD, John?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. Yeah,
the ones in like has like a brown case, Amory case, had like a brown top.
Yeah, I thought they were. I'm colorblind, so I thought it was black. That's what I was.
Yeah, that was kind of like the VHS beta thing, like they both came out in Blu-ray one, beat them out because it was better.
Yeah,
I guess overall or something, or Sony. That's what really helped the PS3 really.
Yeah, I think Sony, the PlayStation was going to back Blu-ray, and HD DVD was going to be on Xbox. Because I think there was a time you could actually buy an HD DVD box that would plug into your Xbox for a period of time, or it was like a plug-in or something that allowed it to read HD DVD, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I never did get a chance to check out the HD TV DVD because it seemed like it was here and it was gone, just like that. And I didn't get a Blu-ray player till like 2011. I think it was 2011.
I didn't get one until 2 years ago because that's
really?
when my PlayStation 3 blew out. So it was like it was playing good, and it was just like, do I go and buy it? Because like the controller started like playing around with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, do I want to, And then it was like I had ordered a remote, not a remote, a controller off of Amazon, and then my buddy goes, look for Blu-ray players on what is it, Marketplace, around.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a brand new right in box Blu-ray player for $20.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
the woman goes, yeah, we don't use it anymore. She was a young girl, and she was like, yeah, come and get it. So I gave her 20, and she goes, oh no, I'll just take 15 for it. So I only paid $15 for it. So I was like, okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she was really nice about it. So yeah, I never had, because we got a DVD player. My brother had bought one. Remember when Blockbuster used to have a thing where you could buy the DVD player and get like 10 rentals or something like that? When
Yeah,
DVDs
I think so.
first started. So it was like we bought the DVD player, and we got like 10 or I think it was like 15 or 10 free rentals for Blockbuster for buying it. So that was just a hidden incentive,
Yeah, I think I've told the story before. I don't know if I've told it on here before, but I had a next door neighbor that he had, like, this is back in like 2007 or 8, but he had a like a real nice like Sony. I think it's like a 65-inch. It wasn't like a flat. It was a 1080, but it wasn't one of the in the early days of the widescreen. Sometimes they still made them with a kind of a bigger back on them. They were a little bit. Well, it doesn't matter. But it was a really nice Sony, and it looked like phenomenal for the era. Like, because I only had at that time, I'd only been able to get I had like a 720 like Philips. Like a Philips 720 TV. It was kind of really before when I bought mine. There really wasn't 1080s. There wasn't. They were expensive at that time, and the prices were just starting to come down on just the regular flat screen. So I had that, and then I used to go over to his house and watch different TV shows and stuff. But it just had a phenomenal picture in the era. But he had a Blu-ray HD DVD combo player. It played both, and he wanted to sell it to me, and like I think I eventually, at the time, I didn't have the money, and I think when I kind of put the money together to buy a Blu-ray player, eventually I offered to buy it from him, and he's like, "No, I don't think I'm gonna sell it now. I think I'm just gonna hold on to it." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I don't think I'd get rid of it either myself, but he had a bunch of HD DVDs. And he had some that didn't even get released on Blu-ray till several years later. Like the Big Lebowski didn't get released till like 2011 or 12, or like 2011 or 2012 or something like that. And he had it like back in 7 or 8. So it's kind of pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I had a Philips 32-inch, but it was one of the big ones that weighed like 500 pounds, it was 32-inch. I had that for the longest time. And then I think 29, we got like a 720 flat screen, I guess. Yeah. And then I had that for a little while, but
I wanted, when they first started coming out, I wanted one so bad, but I couldn't afford one back in the day by far,
Yeah. Yeah, then there was like plasma and there was all these different versions. There was like the 1080, you could get a 1080p one or a 720, and then there was plasma, and then there was something else. There were a lot of different stuff for a while there.
Yeah, mine was plasma. The plasma there was something, a little smoother about the picture on a plasma, I thought, versus like one of my first, you know, LCD or yeah,
LCD. Yeah.
yeah, the first LCD I had was 1080, but it seemed a little bit smoother. But the worst thing is they got burn in on them. If you let something on the screen, it would like burn into it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mine would go away though, because if you just let it, it would kind of refresh itself over a couple of days, and it wouldn't like permanently burn in. If you accidentally fell asleep with something on, as long as it didn't, didn't sit there for days on end with the same image on it, I think you were fine. But that was a big concern with them.
Yeah, I think when I got my Sony 65, that was one of the warnings too on it, even on a newer model when they were just like to do that so it wouldn't burn in, anything, pixels or whatever get burned out or something.
Yeah, I don't think don't seem like we have any problems anymore. So where everything went to LEDs, it made everything so much better. Like made them dissipate heat so much better. The old ones that old Philips I had, it would heat up the room. It had big vent on the back of it, and it would, they had fluorescent bulbs in them. What they used originally, I think the backlight your screen, and I think it used like fluorescence, and it just like heated up like you could use it. Basically, could use it as a heater if in the wintertime.
Yeah, save on heat.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I got the TV I got in my bedroom is a 1080 LCD or LED TV, and it's still got the best pictures still. If it ever goes out, I'll probably upgrade to like a smaller 4K or something. But man, it's still got a great picture on it. We can't believe it. So it's about 11 years old. So it's still got a good picture.
Yeah, the next TV, my first 1080 TV was one of those. It was one of the Quatron TVs. It was what was that company that made Quatron? It was wasn't one of the big companies. I'm sorry, everybody. It was a
Quatron.
Yeah, it had used the 4 different colors and the pixels and stuff in it. What was that? It was a Sharp. It was a Sharp.
Yeah.
They called it a Sharp Quatron. And
okay.
I remember getting that, and it was a lot. It was by the time I bought that TV in like 12, I think about 2012 when I bought that TV. And it was probably $1,000 cheaper than the TV I'd bought before, and it was like a 60 inch. The first one was a 42 inch. Next one was a 60, and then eventually went to 65s on my 4Ks. But
yeah, I can't believe how much TVs have gone down in price, because I got our big one that's in the living room in 2018, and I got it from Best Buy, and it was over $1,000 for it easily. And then like a year later, they all like shot down in price, like about $500, $600. And now you can get a 65 inch, probably for $400 or $500, maybe at Walmart or somewhere, depending on what it is. But
yeah, I seen some today when I was at Walmart that I can't remember what size. They looked like pretty good size ones, probably 65s, at least 65s. And they was like $495 for, I forget, it seemed like it was a decent brand too. It wasn't like it wasn't like the Chinese brand, the Hisense or whatever. Which
Hisense, yeah.
I don't know how good those are or not. I think that they look pretty good, but I just don't trust the kind of spyware they got built into them. That's what I don't trust about them. I mean, I don't know how much you can trust Samsung or LG either, but I mean, they are Korean, so I don't, we kind of, we're kind of allied more with South Korea.
They could be like an off brand made by one of those bigger companies too. A lot of times they do that.
Yeah, I think Hisense is Chinese. I think it's Chinese. I mean, I could be wrong about that.
Well,
but the problem is
I was going to say they make air conditioners too, so that tells you anything.
Yeah.
The ones you put in the window, like your window air conditioners. So.
There's probably nothing wrong with them. I mean, the kind of money you pay for them, they seem to be pretty good. They we had to replace like 2 televisions on my grandmother. She had before, like probably a month or 2 before we had this tornado here, my grandmother's house got struck by lightning. But
Oh
it
man.
basically blew a hole in her roof, and it like fried both her TVs.
Oh wow.
And so we replaced both of her televisions, and
yeah.
And I was considering when I went to Best Buy at first, and they didn't have it, what the TV I wanted they didn't have in stock, and we were kind of considering like a Hisense. I think it had like Roku built into it or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
we were considering buying that one. And then I don't know, the salesman was kind of an ass for some reason, and so I was like, let's just go to Sam's Club and see what they've got. And so we end up finding TV there, basically the same TV but a bigger, like a 70-inch. We bought her a 70-inch for her living room and a 65 for her bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Replaced both of them, because the insurance paid for them. So.
Yeah, I got a friend, man. I went to their house for the first time, and I didn't know this, but they had like a 90-inch TV. We walked in the living room. I was like, "Holy good God, holy moly!" It was like, "This thing is so like? Big, just huge. It's like the whole wall, pretty much." It's like, damn. And the couch is like 6 feet from it. It's like, geez, it'd be like, it's like y'all need to kind of do some measurements and stuff there, because that's, I don't know. Yeah. To each their own, I guess.
Yeah, I'm probably sitting a little close for my 65 in here. I'm on that far. It's probably 7 feet away from me. Yeah. I'm probably a little bit too close. There are measurements you can do for maximum viewing range and optimal viewing range. Optimal viewing range for TVs, but I like it. I like to be completely engulfed in the picture, in the image. So I like it a little bit close. I don't know how good it is on my eyes, because it didn't seem to strain my eyes. So, but I don't think a 90-inch I'd be 6 feet away from.
No, it was just like, you couldn't even really look at it really, because it was just, it was almost, you could just see it pixelated. You know what I mean? Because you can't sit that, when you step back from it, you obviously get a better picture, but when you're real close to it, it just looks, it's weird. But yeah, I remember when I was a kid, man, every time it would lightning or something, everybody would freak out. It's like, we got to unplug the TV. Lightning will run in on the TV. It was like, it was stressful for a little kid. It's like, oh no, don't run in on our TV.
It'll happen. It happened.
Oh, it happens.
I think that's the second time it happened. She's had it struck before, not the house, but like I think it struck like the ground outside and did the same thing, or it struck one side. But I think it burned another television up in her bedroom before. This time it got both of them. Well, what happens is I think it ran through the second time when it got both TVs, it like ran through the wiring or something on the side of the house. It like struck the top of the house and went down through like the actual electrical wiring. Didn't hurt anything, but there was like burn marks around some of the electrical, like the switches. Like you can see burn marks around where it smoke come out of them. But it luckily didn't burn her house down. It was just raining real heavy outside, and nothing caught on fire in the roof attic. But yeah, that was pretty messed up. If I owned the house and knowing that happened to it twice, I'd be putting rods on it. I'd be putting a grounding system and grounding it out, putting lightning rods on it and grounding them to the, what you do. Some people do that with tall houses. It's not, and it's her house. It's got tall roofs, but it's a single story house. It's just got kind of those big roofs, they put on houses in the 90s. And, it sets up on top of it's like on a high point on her. We all live here on the farm. Like my parents' house and my grandmother and my uncle has a house, and her house sets up like on a high point. So it's like it tracks the lightning.
Yeah, she's got it on a sweet spot, I guess, for the lightning somehow.
Yeah.
It's perfect. What do you guys, I've always wondered about this. What do you guys think about surge protectors? I mean, do you really think they help in such a case like with lightning, or something, or because you can get really expensive surge protectors, or you can get just average price ones, and I don't know. I mean, I don't. If it's lightning bad, I'll turn stuff off because but
Yeah, well, I use them obviously because they're built into power strips. Usually they're kind of part of that, so I use them.
mhm,
But I don't think I've ever been in a situation where it's actually saved anything, which I've never had. I've
mhm.
never had that happen like what had with my grandmother. But like what I was saying, what happened to her TV wasn't electrical anyways. It came in through like the direct TV. That's what burned it up because it burnt the direct TV box up too.
Oh well, yeah.
And I think that's where it actually zapped the TVs through the HDMI on the direct TV box.
Mhm. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
haven't had any problems with it either. Because when
yeah.
we got our TV, we like the guy from Best Buy had said, you might want to get a surge protector. So we just went. I think we went to Walmart and paid like $8 or something for a surge protector.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
we didn't have any problems with that.
yeah. I've seen some that are like $100, and they'll have like a bunch of plugins, but then they'll have like USB plugins, and sometimes even a coaxial
Oh wow,
route too.
that's too
But
fancy dancy for me.
I know, right? But I've
Well,
always used them too, but I've never had any issues either. I can't
Mm-mm.
say so.
I've got some good ones like that, but they didn't cost $50. So I usually go on Amazon. You can find good deals. So they got like
Mhm.
some big gigantic ones. There's no way some of them it's got so many plugs on them. If you plugged every plug in, there's no way it would unless everything was like
Yeah.
see everything's so low voltage anymore that
Mm-hmm.
you can get away with it. Back in the day, everything had high voltage, like the OTVs were high voltage, even with transformers built onto them. Everything drew a lot of amperage, so you
Yeah.
couldn't plug a lot in. But now everything's so micro voltage, with USB type, 5 volts here, but in like hardly any run no amperage, so you can plug a million things into one plug and it won't even cause a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wondered about that because
Yeah.
I don't know if you're just buying peace of mind or if it really works, but I guess a little bit of both. But
I would say it would work if you had it would probably be worth it if you lived in an area where you had unstable electricity, but our electricity grid in America is pretty good. We have good consistent, our electricity's good and like hard to explain it. I was an electrician, went to school for that stuff, so it's just, our electric is conditioned better. It's like when it comes to your house, it's not like there's no inversions and stuff. Everything's working right. It's not like peak. We're not having voltage spikes and things like that that's hitting your house.
yeah.
So it's so we but like it's like a smaller country that doesn't have a high end like electrical system, which don't probably exist anymore. But like a developing country, yeah, you may have problems like that. But that's mostly what's going to protect against.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is the Europe, the PAL system? What is that, like 440 volt or something? Or am I thinking about
Yeah.
something else?
Well, that's a good question. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
It's like I know it, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, it's slightly different in America. It's like we got 110, and
Like
yeah, theirs is
220.
like 120 or so. It's like it's like it's something odd. It's like 130 or something. It's something strange. It's like just a little bit different.
Yeah.
I can look it up. That's my problem with modern technology that I think we grew up and we kind of grew up in an era where we didn't have a phone to look stuff up and the internet, so we still try to use our brains to do stuff.
Yeah.
And if we don't know an answer, we don't immediately go to the phone, go to looking it up. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good old Encyclopedia Britannia. They'll have like a dictionary, Webster's dictionary, and encyclopedias and stuff like that.
And the Dewey Decimal
Okay.
System. Look it up on the Dewey Decimal.
Yeah, Dewey Decimal.
Okay, yeah. Well, I was off 100 volts. It's the standard is 230 volts in Europe.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it was odd. Yeah, 230.
230 and 400 volts for like 400 would be like two phase, like a dryer or something like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's I call it two phase, but it's not technically two phase. It's just like we have 120 and 120 and 220, or 110 and 220.
Mm-hmm.
220 has two hots and ground in a neutral, and 120 has one hot, ground in neutral.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just for feeding like I have something heavier.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they run a little bit more. I should have known that, but I don't. I never worked in Europe, so
yeah,
never. So
yeah, I was just thinking about that because when I got that Blu-ray player, it came with a plug up for Europe. You know, for one of their. You could rewire the plug-in or something for.
Oh.
Yeah, you plug it in one of those, but
is that the region free, Mike? The region free players?
Yeah, one of the region free. It only came with one time. Like I've got a couple players over the years, and just one time it came with one. I don't know why. Maybe it was accidental or something, but it was like two prong or something. I think it was just two prongs.
Yeah, that's how theirs are. It's just like two. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I kind of like what their adapter look. There was somebody would know that question. Scottish Geek guy. How's it going?
Yeah, he would probably know.
Yeah. Yeah, electric actually gets kind of confusing because you also have different, when it goes up higher in voltage, like your wiring color changes and stuff like that. And it gets kind of confusing because I was just learning. I couldn't remember the standard. I couldn't remember the standard voltage in Europe. We were talking about some electrical conversions earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But what was I talking about? Yeah, but
yeah, I forgot what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it was, but then you have like even more confusing where you have like when you get into industrial, you have three phase, which is like usually three hots and multiple. You have different, and that's whenever you start running into. That's when you start running into 60 and 120 hertz systems where you have like generators or an electric motor. It's a three-phase motor, so you have to have three different hots on it. It starts getting pretty confusing when it gets into that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like my grandpa was in the World War II. He was in the Army, and he learned all that stuff. He was like after he got out, he was an electrician, a plumber, this, that, and everything. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I know the United States. I just couldn't remember.
240.
Yeah.
Yeah, all my uncles, like they knew how to do everything, like grill handy and stuff like that. Hey, I need a door hung. They'll come over and hang a door, or basic electric or something like that. It's I remember my one uncle. His basement in Philly was just basically just like with all kinds of tools and screws and gadgets and stuff like that down there. And if like a neighbor needed a radio fix or something, he'd be down there. So late at night, trying to fix a radio or something.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah,
it's a lost art anymore.
Yeah, the old generation. Yeah, but
I just fixed another TV for my cousin. That TV I talked about. Two of those TVs I talked about earlier, like that one I'd fixed the 3D television I fixed, I gave it to him, and then I gave him another television. I gave him that Sharp eventually whenever I bought my first 4K. I gave him that Sharp, so I gave him two televisions, and I fixed two televisions for him. Not those two. I fixed two other televisions he has, and I just fixed one recently. But fixing now, it's not like it's hard to do. Like I never did get the training on it. Like when I went to electronics school in the late 90s, they were even the late '90s, they weren't really even specifying even doing board repairs. I mean, you may have went into a field that did that because when I got out, I went into basically like electrical after I didn't even go into electronics because like it's all like board. You just swap out a board now. It's cheaper to swap a board than to pay a technician to troubleshoot and fix, replace a 10-cent component on the board. It's cheaper to replace the whole board
Yeah.
than it is to, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy to think about that, but
I think we actually still have a television repair shop in our town. There's like one left. So I don't know. I don't know if he gets any business or not, but he's last man standing, I guess. But
yeah,
but yeah, it's not always straightforward. There was a woman I worked with, and her TV, she actually had a Sharp just like mine, but it was like a 70-inch Sharp. It was a bigger one, and it was having the same problems that I've all that same power issue that I see all the time. And so I got the board for it. Well, she paid for it, but I ordered it for her, and I put it in, and it still didn't work. It had some other problem, and another guy I worked with was more of an electronics guy than even he worked in like electronics and stuff, and he even looked at it for her, and he couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. So it was kind of like a waste of $50 after buying it, replacing it, because it had another issue. But most of the time, these new TVs, they only have two boards. They got a power board and they got a video board. Power boards are usually cheap to replace because you can just go on eBay, and there's people that actually they'll buy like destroyed TVs from like Walmart. If one gets like ran through with a forklift or gets dropped and broken, they'll sell those TVs, and people buy them and basically strip them down for their parts, and then they resell those. And that's usually a pretty common thing to go bad in a television, is like that power board. So if you just basically have to open your TV up and get the serial number off the board, or model number off the board, and look it up on put that model number in, and it'll usually, if there's somebody selling one, it'll come up and you'll be able to find one. So
yeah, I've worked on a few Laserdisc players, and I actually kind of enjoyed that. It was pretty interesting, just the mechanics of a Laserdisc player, how it's run. It's like you don't see stuff that mechanical anymore, and
especially the ones that switch discs. They switch the side of the disc. Those are crazy.
Yeah, the laser thing has to
carriage
turn.
In it. Yeah,
the carriage turns or flips or whatever.
Yeah, it runs a track, and it comes up around. It's weird.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It's kind of like archaic, but but it makes complete sense,
Well, what I don't understand is why they didn't try to develop a system where there was a laser on top and bottom. It seemed like it'd have been cheaper to build like two lasers in it instead of building all that mechanics, and you have less to go wrong. Yeah. I mean, I know the disc usually pops up like a CD. It like pops up into the holder where the thing comes down and grabs it.
Yeah.
But it seemed like they still could have worked a way to have had a laser on top and on bottom. I can't figure out why in the world they ever developed that complicated.
I wonder if the opticals were just really expensive back then, the laser feature itself, because I wonder what made the Laserdisc player so expensive, because it had to have one part on there that was just the big money part, So I don't know, maybe laser technology, because I could see maybe two small ones or something, but I don't know.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, you've seen those HD Laserdisc players, haven't you? Have you ever?
I think so.
Seen those? And they're big. They're massive. Like a Laserdisc player's pretty good size. It's big. It's like basically, if you guys don't have one, if you ever had a stereo receiver, I'm talking to the audience. If you
Or
if you have a stereo receiver, back in the 90s or something, Laserdisc players are basically that size of a stereo receiver. It's pretty good size. And they
or
made
like oh, I was gonna say, like the 5 disc carousel, like CD
yes,
ones. A lot of them were that size.
yeah. And I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that Pioneer took a lot of that technology from those carousels and put in those players, or vice versa,
Yeah,
because the tray that opens up for a Laserdisc is similar in size.
hmm yeah. A lot of times people will do that. Like I've been on some Facebook Laserdisc groups, and people will find stuff like at Goodwill or something, and they're like, "What model Laserdisc player is this?" And it's like, that's a 5 disc CD carousel. That's not even a Laserdisc player. Yeah, but those ones you're talking about, like I think Pioneer, they were all like the X series. They started like X, J, and they were almost the thickness of 2 Laserdisc players stacked, almost without the feet. They were massive ones, and you can still get those in Japan. Like you can find them for decent prices, and the only thing is shipping Laserdisc players they're so delicate, because if they're not wrapped packaged just right, they'll get damaged really easily. But
Is what you're talking about the elite players?
yeah, like some of the last models they made, like Pioneer, they were just these real big, thick the big ones, and then I think they went briefly to what the Muse player, and it had Muse discs or something. Just that didn't last very long either, but I think it was mostly Japanese thing.
Yeah, I've never pursued one of those elite players because they've always been a little bit they've been a little pricey when I've found them.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I was going to say I got an older one that's from '97, and it's an elite, but it's smaller, and it's got DVD on there. It's like one of the first DVD players, and you can play laser or CD in it and stuff. But the DVD player is not that great at all. It's just
But yeah. Well, that's what this one over here. It's not an elite, but it's the Laserdisc DVD player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I think that one came out in like '97 or something like that, because it had AC3 and all that stuff on it.
Yeah, this one does too. It was from '97 as well. That's crazy.
Yeah.
About that. Yeah, that I told you about that, didn't I, before? I hope we're not bugging. I hope we're not boring Kenny.
No, I'm listening. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but I'm interested in it. You know what I mean? I had a Laserdisc player too. It was a Pioneer, and I thought I was blown away. I was blown away when it actually played CDs. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I always liked Pioneer the best, I think. I always wondered like what their because they did have a series of TVs, and they made your what you call your AV receivers and stuff too. They had a line of those, and I think they made some DVD players for a while too. Pioneer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I always wondered what their TVs would have been like.
Yeah. Oh, but I bought that Laserdisc player I was talking about in Columbus, in Ohio, and I found it on eBay one day, and the guy was like, I think he wanted like 150 for the player and like 20 or 30 discs, but he said over better offer. So I sent him I was like, well, would you take like 120 for it? Not thinking, I thought, well, I'll send something reasonable because you know how people are on eBay. You try to knock off $5, and they're basically like, get effed.
Yeah.
It was like, why do you put better offer on there if you're not going to come off of the price? But he's like, yeah. He's like, but he wasn't shipping it. You had to come pick it up. So I was like, well, I'll come pick it up. And so I drove up there and got it, and he told me, but it came with the receipt, the original. It had like not the box, but I had the original paperwork that come with it, and it had the receipt stapled on the inside, the instruction manual. And it was like from 1990. It was bought like at Best Buy in 1997 for $9.99.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those were so expensive back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but The first one I had, like, I got it in '92, and it was just a single side. You had to flip it and everything. And I remember putting it on layaway, and because I was like 14 maybe or something. So I put it on layaway, and I got it like after 6 months or something. But 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 it didn't cost that much because it was just it was a very low end model Pioneer, and I think it was like $300 and some dollars, or maybe four or something. But it wasn't that bad, compared to like the $1,200 models and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But,
So,
yeah.
did you get to watch any of the movies, Mike?
No, actually, I was going to watch one of those tonight and one tomorrow for Thursday, and then
I'm sorry. That's on me.
Oh no, man, that's good, man. If you get tickets to something like that, that's cool, man. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just like it came up, and I said to John, I'm like, can we change this around for this week?
Yeah.
So
yeah, so I kind of failed. I flunked my homework this week, but
no, that's on me. I'll take the F for that because it was my fault.
but I think I'm gonna still check them out though.
I was disappointed in Year of the Comet, not the movie itself, but they had that old full frame transfer
Yeah.
up there, and it's definitely offered in widescreen. There's like 235 by 1 aspect ratio or something, because I actually I found a copy of Blu-ray to order. It's like on Twilight,
Oh, okay.
and they had, like, I found it on eBay. I think there's actually an actual Blu-ray version, but it was sold out on Amazon. But when I clicked on another picture, it brought up one, but it was like $30, and I wasn't paying that much for that movie.
No.
And but but the Twilight was a little cheaper, and so I just went ahead and bought that, because I do like that. I do want to have a copy of it, but because it's a decent movie. I don't know how you felt about it.
I gave it 2 out of 5 Whoppers.
Okay.
I thought it felt like sort of like a Hallmark movie, or a Lifetime movie, and the whole thing with like the Comet. I'm thinking some kind of space something. It's going to happen with space.
Yeah.
And here it was just about wine. They got they found a huge bottle of wine from Napoleon.
Huh.
And it was a good story. I mean, you can't go wrong. Penelope Ann Miller is gorgeous. I really like her.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and she was just like, that was prime Penelope Ann Miller. That was 94. So that was like, yeah, she was smoking hot, and still is. But but it was just like, and Tim Daly had this like porn mustache on him.
Yeah.
That, like, I didn't realize it was Tim Daly until he started speaking. Because I know him from Tim Daly. If you people don't know, he's from Wings. He played one of the brothers on Wings with Steven Weber. And it was just like, I looked away and I'm like, that's Tim Daly. And it's like, and then I didn't recognize him with the porn mustache, So it was kind of weird. But it was good. I mean, she's so appealing. You can't not like her, you know? But I just felt like it was a Lifetime movie or a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just made for television. I don't think it was theatrically
No, it was released.
Was it released?
Yeah, it only made $1.8 million on a $8 million budget.
Yeah, I didn't look at the details of it, because that's the only place I ever saw it. It was like HBO. So, and I just remembered it was probably around the time it was put on HBO, the mid '90s or something. In that era is the last time I'd seen it. So, yeah,
I remember it coming out because I remember putting the box back at the video store when I worked at the video store. But it's very, very deceiving, the title.
Yeah. Well, I got a movie that she's in. I got this movie a few months ago, the Relic.
With Tom Sizemore.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I seen that at the movies. 96.
Yeah. I've been waiting to kind of watch it at some point. But yeah, she's in that. Actually, I got The Shadow too, and she's in The Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you had the laserdisc of that, John, didn't you? Because I think I
Yeah.
watched that laserdisc video today. I
Yeah.
don't think I commented though. I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
remember.
I'm not worried about if you guys don't comment on my videos because I don't usually comment on yours just because I watch most everything on Roku. So my
Oh yeah.
videos, so I don't watch them on my phone. So I don't have. That's what
Oh yeah.
sucks
Yeah.
about Roku. I wish they would. I wish they would.
Pop up a comment or a chat thing on
Well, I wish
there.
they made it an option where you could plug in a keyboard to it and
Mhm.
use a keyboard on it. But they have USB inputs, but it's only for like plugging in like a something that displays pictures, or maybe it may do video too. I'm not sure. I've never
Mhm.
tried it, but
Or
it won't.
or even like the mic feature on your remote. Like some of the
Mm.
remotes have a. I wonder if that
Yeah.
would
Yeah,
work, or I don't know. That might go a little crazy, a little haywire, maybe.
yeah,
But but yeah.
yeah. But
You liked it
yeah,
better than me, right, John?
yeah. I'd probably give it. Yeah, but I probably wouldn't give it more than 5 out of 10 though. Just average. I thought some of the acting's not so great, and the dialogue's kind of cheesy here and there. It's. I was thinking about when I was watching it. It's supposed to be. It's a It's kind of touted as a comedy, but and it. But it's the way the lines are delivered. Like it's just I don't know, the comic timing's not quite right. I don't know if you that makes any sense to you, but it's just like something's just a little bit off with the comic timing. It's
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
that funny here when it's supposed to be funny, or it's like, or the tone of the movie's a little bit. It's a little subdued, so it doesn't like I don't the comedy doesn't come through like it should. Like the
No.
the whole storyline with the mother and the big son. That's kind of dumb, but
Yeah.
the first person, like it should have been played off as I think it's supposed to be played as comedy, but it doesn't come off like it. It seems like
Mm-mm.
they're actually usually that's like that whole like setup is kind of something I've seen in another movie, and it should have been played for comedy more so, but it just wasn't. It was played serious, and I didn't think it was.
Yeah, because I was thinking when they were doing that, it was sort of like the Princess Diaries,
Yeah,
with the waiter and the other girl that tries to get Anne Hathaway's character, like relegated to like the princess being a princess kind of way.
hmm
Oh yeah.
I thought, and that was kind of funnier. Like
yeah,
you said, you were right. Like the brother. You
yeah,
know, so yeah, it was like, hey, anytime I can see Penelope Ann Miller, I'm fine with
yeah,
that. But it just, it didn't lend themselves, you know. And then it's like it takes the old '90s like rom com thing, They just be,
yeah,
they were gonna fall in love, and you know,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
so
At first, when you mentioned that last week, I thought you were talking about Night of the Comet.
that's what I thought he was talking about too. And I'm like, yeah,
That
I'm all up for Catherine Mary Stewart.
yeah, that's
Well,
kind of like a sci-fi
I
horror.
had that last week. I showed you. I bought the 4K of that
Yeah,
last
Yeah,
week.
yeah, that's what I
But
was
that's
thinking.
what got me thinking about the year of the comet.
Hmm.
Because actually, that's what's weird about these Blu-rays. I looked for that Blu-ray a few months ago because for some reason I'd thought about it,
Hmm.
and I thought, well, I'm gonna see if I can find that on DVD. Surely it's on DVD. And I looked for it, and it didn't come up anywhere. And then all of a sudden, I look for it now, and then it's there. It's so
Yeah,
strange.
yeah, that's happened to me a few times. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird.
and I just didn't dig deep enough, I guess. And
Yeah, maybe.
but it's came and gone on Blu-ray. It's not even I'd say it's out of print, even the one I bought, but it was cheap because nobody cares about it. It's nothing
Mm.
being sought after. But I
Yeah,
don't mind. I do want to go back and watch it. In part of what kind of I think does it make it feel cinematic and makes it feel more like a Hallmark movies because
was the
it's
pan
pan and
scan.
scan. Yeah, so I want to see it in its full frame
yeah,
because I have no idea why they had that full frame version of it on there. There's a better. They must buy the rights or whatever copies they buy. They must buy it from some. They must buy them from like old TV broadcasts or something
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, and
Yeah, they might not.
or,
They might not have a high definition, transfer of it yet or something. So they're just showing.
yeah, it exists. Like that's what I'm saying. But or are you talking about Tubi?
Oh yeah. Tubi. Like sometimes you can get like last week. What's his name was talking about the Keep, which they have a high definition one online, but not like available in physical media yet. Like so you can watch it in high definition on. I guess it was Tubi. I guess it was. It seemed like everything was on Tubi.
Oh, we were talking about this last week, and I picked it up on DVD. And
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Christopher Guest, I had seen it. I think I went to the theater and saw it. That's the last time I'd seen it. I couldn't remember much about it. It's actually pretty good. It's kind of, I think all of you guys would like it.
Yeah,
But,
I think I've seen it at least once. Yeah, it's been a long time though.
yeah, it basically takes place around them making a movie. They're like making a movie within the movie. They're like making this movie that focuses around a Jewish family called Home for Purim. Home for Purim.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
it's like, you got your actors and you got like the agents and stuff like that, and it's just all it's actually really funny. And I'd forgot, like, Ricky Gervais shows up in it. He's like the executive.
Oh,
He's like the president of the company, or the movie company. And yeah, I mean, it's got a good cast, and all the people, play good characters in it. It's just fun. It's just really funny because what happens in the movie is, like, what's her name? Is it Catherine O'Hara? What's her name?
Yeah, she's in a lot of his movies. Yeah.
Yeah, Catherine O'Hara. She's like an old woman who's dying in it, and she has like kind of a dramatic role. She's kind of had like a nothing career in Hollywood. Only did like, B movies, essential stuff people's not really seen. Or she's kind of over the hill in Hollywood, so she gets so there starts being these rumors that she's going to get an Oscar nomination. So all these people on the set get all these rumors start going that they're going to get Oscar nominations, and so they eventually get to the end of the movie where it's time for the Oscar selection, and none of the people that were supposed to get nominated for the Oscars get nominated, and the one guy who's not, nobody's had any rumors on, he does get nominated. And so it's kind of funny. And Catherine O'Hara, her character is funny because she goes through like a, after the movie stops, you see her like a couple months later, and she's got all these cheek implants and wearing like straight blonde hair, making herself look young. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you watch anything this week, Mike?
I've started watching some like older horror movies, like Hammer movies, horror movies. Trying to get maybe an early start on October because there's a bunch of stuff I want to watch during that month. I picked up the Scream Factory, The Howling. The first Howling movie. Got that. It's got a lot of stuff on the disc. It's pretty cool. Other than that, I did pick up. There's this movie. This just came out on 4K. It's called Maniac. It's a horror movie from the early 80s. I don't know if you can see it though, but it's got that guy. What's his name? Joe Spinell.
Oh, yeah. I just watched a movie with him in it the other day.
Yeah, he's been in some like Charles Bronson movies. I think he was in the first Godfather.
Yeah, he had he's best friends with Stallone. He was in Rocky. There was like a whole bunch of them. Like he was in like from the 70s. That was like, oh yeah, that's that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was The Last Hunter. I think that was the movie I watched with him in it. I think that was it. Let me look on. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Mike. I interrupted you.
Oh no, you didn't. I was gonna say he just like he died. He died kind of young-ish. He died like I want to say late '80s, early '90s, or something like that. And he's that guy. You know, like he's famous. He's like that guy. He's in all these famous movies, but people really don't know him by name and
Yeah.
stuff and everything. And he did a couple of these movies called it was like 1980. I think he did Maniac 1 and Maniac 2, and they've become like a cult hit movie or something. But I got the older Blu-ray edition of it. It just came out in 4K, and everybody's gawgawing over it right now. So I was just like, I'll get this one.
Yeah, I just pulled up his filmography. Check out these movies he was in when he was in Rocky 2, Paradise Alley, because I told you he's best friends with
Stallone.
Stallone. Yeah, he was in the original Rocky, Taxi Driver, Farewell My Lovely. Have you ever seen that? That was really good. Godfather 2, he played Willie Cece.
Oh, okay.
The 7-Ups, Cops and Robbers, and The Godfather. I mean,
Yeah.
and plus he was in like a lot of other movies. That The Sorcerer with Roy Scheider.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing the movies he's been in.
And a lot of them are just he would have a very very small part in it. Like he was in Taxi Driver. He's like the taxi driver manager. Like when he first gets a job as a taxi driver, he's talking to that guy, like da da da, and that's the whole part. That's the only time you see him in the movie. He's just got that.
Yeah, he was in Night Shift with Michael Keaton.
What's his character in that? I can't remember him in that.
Minetti. He might have been one of the hit guys that comes to the morgue to kind of rough up Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
that might have been his part. I don't really like. You see these faces. Like I didn't know the guy from what's his name, Jonathan Davis. Was he in Breaking Bad? Is that the guy that I'm thinking of? Jonathan Banks. He played like the bad guy in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
And then he was in Armed and Dangerous. Yeah, but it's like he never got like. He was like 40 years into his career before he got like really noticed. Like, but he's been like in like a ton of movies. I think it's Jonathan Banks because the first movie I remember seeing him in was Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah, I think that's his name.
Yeah, he's one of those many actors, man. Those like character actors that you know his face and you just can't.
Yeah,
he never becomes a household name, but
it's Jonathan Banks.
Yeah,
because he's been in Gremlins, Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. I'm just pulling up his filmography. I mean, it's crazy all the movies he's been in. And plus he's a voice actor too, because he does the Batman animated series too.
Who are you talking about now?
Jonathan Banks.
Jonathan Banks. Okay. I was still looking at Spinell.
Oh, okay.
Spinell. Well, but I was looking at some of his back. He's like in Big Wednesday. He's only he's just like a bit part in that too. Like he's a psychologist in that.
Yeah, like a lot of those movies that Spinelli's in, is Spinelli. He's only in it for like a scene or two, but
yeah,
he's in like Taxi Driver.
Yeah,
that's crazy. He's in so many good movies.
He's in the movie. I haven't watched it yet, but he's in that Schwarzenegger movie, Stay Hungry.
Oh yeah.
I have it on Laserdisc, but I've never seen it. I just showed it the other day in that video I made.
Yeah. But yeah, I picked that up. I had never seen it, but I know it's a great movie in the horror movies. I've always heard of it. I just never had a chance to see it. So
It's kind of like Warren Oates, you know. He's just a character actor. Just been in so many things, but never starred in anything really. Technically, Warren Oates starred in the Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie, but it wasn't one of Peckinpah's biggest movies. Kind of.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember Warren Oates from is Stripes. Lighten up, Francis.
Yeah, he had a bigger. He had bigger roles than this other guy. He usually had a lot of more speaking lines, like Two-Lane Blacktop and things like that. He had a big part in, you know, and he had great parts. But you know, he's into so many movies and television shows and stuff, you know. But nobody hardly, you know, if you don't watch a lot of movies, you don't know who he is, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I really like Warren Oates. He's cool. He's always been. Yeah, I think Stripes was his last movie, anyways.
Yeah, he was very sick making that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he died not long.
Yeah, they filmed a lot of it up the road from me, Fort Knox.
Oh, no kidding. Really?
Yeah, a lot of the military base scenes were Fort Knox.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like him and Peckinpah were like pretty much. Well, I don't know if they were drinking buddies per se, but they were both drunks, known drunks.
Yeah.
Like there's like a cast photo with like Peckinpah. He's like laying on like a gurney for like emergency, you know, like what they bring out for an emergency, like laying on the gurney with all the cast around him because they, you know, he was drunk all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember seeing that in any of the documentaries or anything about him, but
I think I have. I think they put like they put like a fake, like a bottle with a line, you know, a needle in them or something, like they were trying to give him life back or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
it wasn't real, but
yeah, they didn't die too far apart, did they? Hit Warren Oates and Peckinpah, I don't think, did they?
No, by a couple of years, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ought to do a Sam Peckinpah show. I don't know if we ever did on the other show.
A long time ago. We
did we do one? Yeah.
I know we did one on Sergio Leone.
Yeah.
One of the times. No, I have to check.
There's some of his later movies I haven't really seen, like some of the stuff he did, like right before he died. I didn't even know he did some of that stuff. I kind of cut it off after Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia in my memory of him, you know, and I didn't watch a lot of the later stuff. But did some of those later movies any good?
Yeah. Well, you know, he did like Convoy. You know, that was one of his later movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are not classics, but they're watchable. They're good, you know.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know what would be his last like true classic. You know, maybe that was Alfredo Garcia. It was like, and it's not even the greatest movie, but I think that was like his best last movie that he made.
Yeah,
kind of, sort of.
I always liked The Getaway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually got that off the shelf this week to watch. I was going to rewatch it because it's a good movie.
But if you don't care, Michael, I don't want to put no hard feelings on the poster again. If you don't care if we talk about it a little bit.
Oh, no.
You should watch it, but
yeah,
go
ahead.
See what Kenny thought about it. And,
yeah, I love the movie. Yeah. Absolutely love the movie. I thought it was great. I gave it 4 out of 5 Whoppers. I loved it. Jennifer Lawrence is so funny in this movie.
Yeah.
And she's got like really good comic timing.
Yeah.
And it's really good. It was like a real throwback to the 80s kind of comedy, you know. And after you'll never hear Maneater the same after watching this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to check it out for sure because you guys.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good, and it's raunchy because it's like, you know, the comedies are like too PC, and you know, and this was just like, you know, it's just something that a person would say, like, when they go to a party or something like that.
Mhm.
I loved it. I thought it was really good. I've watched it twice. It was really good.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's the picture if nobody knows what we're talking about, but yeah, I liked it as well. I did think it was a little my initial ranking was 6 out of 10. I still probably would stay there. I would probably stay in that ranking, probably 6 out of 10. But I had a lot of fun watching the movie, and um, it was fun. Has some really funny parts in it. I just thought it was kind of like the structure of the movie. There's nothing atypical about it. I think it's just your typical, kind of romantic comedy in a way. It's just a comedy, really, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
it kind of follows the same kind of tropes as most movies like it. But it does have some really funny parts and some funny bits in it. And Jennifer Lawrence I think she is really good in it. She looks good, and she she is good, and
Mhm.
it has like this freaking full nude scene with her in it. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe that.
I
Oh, wow.
couldn't believe that either. She's an A-list actress doing that, and I was like, wow, okay. I
Yeah.
wasn't against it, but I was just like, wow, okay.
It's definitely her too, because yeah, she it's not like a body double or anything, like sometimes they would do.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. The last movie I saw her in was what was it? Uh, it's got gosh dang
Last
it.
one I seen her was Passengers with Andy Dwyer. Let's see, Chris Pratt.
I don't think I seen that one. Is that any good? Is that like a horror movie or something?
No, it's a sci-fi movie.
Sci-fi?
Yeah,
Passengers.
it's
I gotta check that out.
yeah, it's good. It's slow. Michael Sheen really saves the movie in my opinion.
Okay.
But it was good. When you for me, it's like when you go into a movie and you like the actors, you're like really rooting for this to be like really good, So it's like it was slow, and I didn't think they were sort of like to me anyway. Watching it, did you see it, Mike? Passengers?
Yeah, I thought it was
Did
pretty
you
good.
think? Did you think they were kind of like a brother and sister kind of relationship instead of like a romantic relationship?
Mm,
Because that's the kind of vibe I got.
I didn't really see them as that, but I also didn't really see them as like legitimately a couple. I guess I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. Maybe I guess I bought them as a couple
Oh, okay.
but I don't know. Gosh, it's been a while though, but I don't think I looked at it that way though. I didn't
Oh,
think
okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. Like I said, I haven't seen it for a while either. But I just I thought Michael Sheen was really good in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one movie reviewer for No Hard Feelings, like this guy that I watch on Eric Weber, and I like him for his honesty, but I don't agree with his opinions all the time. He's kind of like he's like an actual Hollywood kind of reviewer. He's not he's not like what you call one of the guys who's like an insider, the guys who like actually, they basically give them tickets to go see the movie, and they pretty much, he doesn't give good reviews for stuff. He's fairly honest about stuff, but he hated No Hard Feelings. He was like, oh, guys, it's going to ruin Jennifer Lawrence's career and stuff like this. And I was like, Jesus Christ, it was pretty good, because I'd seen it the same, I'd seen the movie like, sorry, I got a gnat flying around here,
That's okay.
bugging me. And I'd seen it like on the Thursday, and he does like a review show on Thursday night before Friday. And so I watched the show that night, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, there's no way. I mean, did I watch a different movie than you watched? I mean, she was good in this movie, and
Hmm.
and I, there's some movies I have, I agree with him with some stuff. I disagree. I mean, that's how everybody is. But because I sent him a super chat or something saying basically, I said I like the movie, but like doesn't mean great. That's where I got that line from when I was talking about that last week. Was from talking to him about. It's like sometimes people need to sit down and enjoy the movie. Like there's a lot of people who talk about how Hollywood doesn't make a lot of movies to just go and like to kind of drop out for a while, and you don't have to you don't have to, but then they sit around and complain all the time about how they're not making these but they're not out seeing these movies. Like they don't go watch anything. I'm like, there's good movies coming out, they're not a lot of woke stuff in them. They're not woke at all, and this movie's kind of like it. There's nothing in it. It's just a funny movie. That's why I gave it a 6, because it's just like most comedies. There's very few comedies I'm gonna give above an 8. Anyways, I don't give anything perfect. Like I don't give anything perfect. So really, 8 is the high. If I give something an 8, that's pretty high end. But in reality, I think it's better than average, but is a good movie.
The movie I was thinking about with her is American Hustle.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I did. The last movie I did see of her was Passengers.
Yeah, I didn't watch that Red. What was that? It was called. It was Red something.
Red
Sparrow.
Yeah, Red Sparrow.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen that. I feel like I have it.
I've heard of it.
My mom has that movie. Yeah, I think she bought it, but I never did buy that. It may be in my collection now because I think I took over some of those movies, but I don't think I've watched it though.
Yeah,
but
I didn't see that either.
Yeah, it didn't seem very interesting to me. But yeah, she had a bunch of a lot of people. I think a lot of it stems from her. She kind of had some bad press there for a while. And I don't know the full extent of it, but she had basically kind of disowned her parents because they voted for Trump. She basically came out and said, I don't talk to my parents anymore because they voted for Trump pretty much. She's, something stupid like that, and
yeah.
And then she was on one of these round table programs where they have a bunch of actresses doing a round table, and she was talking about how she was like the first like female action star or something in Hollywood.
Oh, I remember
she made this big statement,
and Princess Leia was trending at that time. Yeah,
yeah,
I do remember that.
Yeah, she got called on that. So I think she's kind of changed her tune here recently. It seemed like I've heard something else she had said. So I don't know if she kind of, maybe actually listened to the criticism she was getting and be like, hey, maybe this isn't so good, because she wouldn't done this movie. And
as you get older, you get smarter,
Yeah.
Hopefully, so what you think when you're 20, I mean, because she's still young, right?
Yeah.
She's like not even 30 yet, right?
No, I think she's in her 30s.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think she's 31. Yeah. Yeah, she's got like 1 or 2 kids too.
Jennifer Lawrence does?
Yeah. She's got at least one.
She's 33.
Oh, okay.
She's at least got 1 kid. I don't know about 2, but she's at least got 1.
Yeah, and she's from Indian Hills, Kentucky too.
Yeah, you didn't know she's from Louisville?
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
It just says she's from Indian Hills though, which is kind of, I guess, a subdivision, or not a subdivision, but it's kind of outside of Jefferson County there somewhere.
Is that close to you guys?
Close to Knox. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 40 miles from me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, about 45 minutes or less. Well, how fast I go.
It's like Harry Dean Stanton. Harry Dean Stanton he says he's from West Irving. I'm from Irving, Kentucky. It's a little tiny small town. He says West Irving, but I don't know why he actually hangs on to that, because I think they were from like West Virginia or something originally. They moved to Kentucky, or like Virginia or West Virginia or North Carolina. One of those. They were from a more eastern town, and they moved to Kentucky. But he he didn't really. I don't think he was young when they moved either. So I don't understand. Like he didn't hang around Kentucky very long. 'Cause I think that's when he got into the Navy. I believe it wasn't too long. I might be wrong about how many years he lived in Irving, but
Yeah.
I don't understand why he kind of hangs on to that. Now I think he may have went to school at UK or something like that
Yeah,
later on, but
I think he did. Yeah. I know his
but
well, there's a famous true crime story where his niece was going to Transylvania University down, I guess it's in Lexington there, and she
yeah.
had gotten murdered back in the 1950s or something, and it was
Oh
kind of
wow.
before he got famous. He was acting, but yeah, I heard that in a true crime thing, and I was like, oh wow, Harry Dean Stanton's niece.
Wow.
But yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to look at Jennifer Lawrence's stuff here. I didn't. Yeah, well, the thing earlier we were talking about the nude scene she does, like she was like, if you guys remember, like back in, God, I guess it's probably back. It's been at least 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago now. But she was one of those first people that got her cloud hacked. If you guys remember that, and she had all those nude pictures leaked. And I mean, there was
Yeah.
some it's like her like doing stuff to guys and the guys doing stuff to her. It wasn't just naked pictures. I mean, it's like, you see every part of her
Oh,
graphically.
oh wow.
And yeah, you can still find them on Google if you Google.
Yeah.
But if you have
I
any
know.
interest in seeing her, but it's been about 12 years ago. So I don't know. I it's just speculating. Maybe that's why she just like, hell, fuck it. Let's let everybody see me naked. Everybody see me anyways.
Yeah. I guess any what do you call it? Uh, any publicity is good publicity. I guess you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So it probably
It
didn't
didn't
hurt.
really it didn't really ruin her career because she went on to do like the X-Men movies and Silver Linings Playbook, a lot of stuff. But a lot of
Hmm.
people were talking. Some of the guys I watched, they kept saying, "Oh well, she's not done anything recently or nothing. She's what's she done recently?" And it's like I said, well, she had a kid for one,
Hmm.
so she's probably took some time off.
Hmm.
So that's one. I don't think she's probably a great person in real life, just from what I've seen.
Yeah,
But I think she's made. I mean, but she did this movie, and I just think she's good in this movie, and I think she is good at. They act like I don't know if she can do comedy or not. And I was like, she can.
hmm.
She's a good actress. Most actresses are versatile. They can do different things.
Yeah, yeah,
I'd rather
yeah.
see in these kind of roles than serious roles. I like to
Hmm.
see her do more roles like this.
Hmm.
I don't know how you
Yeah,
feel about that, Kenny.
Yeah, I agree with you because I got like a Cameron Diaz vibe from her when she was doing this,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing with Cameron Diaz. I'd love to see her do more comedies. You
Yeah.
know, one of
hmm.
her Cameron Diaz's my favorite movie of hers is In Her Shoes. If you ever seen that with Tony, her and Tony Collette are sisters,
Oh yeah.
and
I've never seen that.
yeah, I'm telling you, that's like my favorite role from her that she acts in. And she's just like, this, I think this was like early 2000s. And it was like right off, she came off like something about Mary and all that stuff. And
Okay.
yeah, she plays this kind of like, in the story, it basically comes out that she can't read. And she goes and Shirley MacLaine's her grandmother. She goes to live with her grandmother because her mother kicks her out, and she goes to live with her grandmother. And her grandmother says, in order for you to stay here, you have to help around the retirement community that she's living in, like a 65 and over community. So she goes and basically reads to a English teacher that is lost his sight from diabetes.
Hmm.
So she goes in and basically she like reads, pretends to read the book and stuff, and the guy grabs her by the arm, as she was like fixing the pillows and stuff, and says, I know this is you, and I will help you read. So he basically teaches her to read by just like reading the Shakespeare books. It's a really, really good movie. I don't know. Let me see if that's on the Great Tubi. So
I'll be right back. You guys carry on without
okay.
me. I'll be back just a couple minutes.
Okay.
No, it's not on Tubi, unfortunately.
I'm shocked.
But yeah, I am too. But yeah, it's Toni Collette, Cameron Diaz, and Shirley MacLaine. But I really recommend it because it was one time there was nothing on, and I think it came on like HBO or something like that when it premiered, and me and my mom watched it. It was like really good. I'm like, oh well, Cameron Diaz it'll probably be good, So we watched it. I recommend that. Your wife will like that too, Mike. You could sit and watch it with your wife.
Yeah, I always liked her in Something About Mary. I know it's not like, I mean, you're talking about comedy and stuff. I think she was pretty good in comedy in that one. Yeah.
Well, other than like The Mask, Something About Mary, what other comedies did she do? Because I don't really remember any. I wouldn't qualify Vanilla Sky as a comedy. Would you?
No.
No.
Or even Charlie's Angels, would you?
No.
Kind of a comedy action type movie, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, but she was good in that too. I mean, a lot of people just dismiss it, because it was just like a money kind of grab kind of movie, But I thought. I'm sorry.
She was in the Gangs of New York, wasn't she?
Oh yeah, she got an Oscar nomination for that.
Okay, yeah, she was pretty good in that.
I guess
I've been
waiting.
I haven't seen her anything late. I haven't seen her anything lately, so I'm trying to think of like everything I've seen her.
I got a couple. I've been waiting on the package all day, and it finally came in. So something I had pre-ordered for a while that came out this week, and I was going to open it up here and show you guys. I don't know a lot about
live unboxing.
Yeah, that's cool.
I picked
impromptu.
Yeah, Erwin.
Oh yeah.
Master of Disaster Collection.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that set. Yeah,
it's like disaster movies, like I guess kind of like B. I don't know if I've seen any of them or not. I'm not positive. It just sounded really cool, so I picked it up.
What's
the Blu-ray set?
Yeah.
Let me read them for you here.
Because I think he made what's that one? The one with Steve McQueen, Towering Inferno, I think, and then the
If he made that, I've seen that for sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's on here or not. Let's see here.
And then the one where they're trapped in the ship and it's sinking. What's that one?
Poseidon? The Poseidon Adventure?
Yeah, Poseidon Adventure. I think he produced both of those because those were both disaster movies.
Okay, this one has Flood. Can you guys hear me? Flood, Fire, Hanging by a Thread, Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, When Time Ran Out, The Night the Bridge Fell Down, and Cave In.
I've not seen any of those movies.
Yeah, they must be like a bunch of like his B movies or something.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because I hadn't heard of any of those.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like to buy. Like when I buy sets, I don't like to buy it just with one movie. Like I like to buy I know it's silly, but
no, that's cool, man. I
kind of a nice set.
I really like a lot of those disaster movies from the 70s. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I got a couple other things here too, but I collect Hot Wheels. I don't collect too many toys anymore, but I've always bought Hot Wheels, and I didn't have this one this year, but I've got a bunch. It's just the '89 Batmobile.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. Actually, I have one. I have another one from this year that's white. It's the '89 Batmobile, but it's white instead of black. And it's supposed to be from the Flash movie. I don't know. They do weird color variations. Hot Wheels does like that year to year. They'll have the same mold, but they'll have a same casting, but a different color, just so they can sell it. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I got a bunch of Hot Wheels I haven't opened. One I had displayed for the longest time, and the glue actually came loose on it, and like the car just fell out of it one day. I was like, oh man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fell out of the plastic.
The next thing this is it. Yeah. I like my anime, and on Netflix right now, there's a new live action series that was adapted from an anime. I generally don't recommend Netflix's anime adaptations because, like, Cowboy Bebop wasn't very good at all, and but they have a new one called One Piece, and it's based off this anime here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
It's really, really good. They did a really good job because the guy who created it, pretty much, he was executive producer and produced it, and he actually made them for the most part, stick to the script, so to speak, and it's excellent because you don't have to know anything about this stuff. You didn't have to read the manga or watch the series, which I hadn't. This is why I'm buying. This is literally the first DVD set. And the thing that sucks about this is, like, I don't know how far I want to get into this because there's literally like 30 sets of.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's a bunch. There's a lot to the story, but it's really good. But it's like a pirate. It takes place like almost like in a water world type of. It's not on Earth. It's in a different world. It's in a different planet. Supposedly, it's not Earth, but it's like a water world type of planet where it's like there's a lot of seafaring, and it's kind of like there's like it's like light sci-fi with basically pirates. So everybody's like, the world's like ruled by these pirates, and they got like people have powers, and there's these different, not necessarily like superpowers, but people are like kind of overpowered, and people have different things, and like there's this devil fruit that people eat, and like depending on the type of fruit it is, it gives them like power. Like the main character, he's like kind of like Mr. Fantastic. It turned his body to rubber, so he can stretch, and like bullets bounce off of him and stuff like that. So he has like it's like a mild sci-fi kind of. But it's well done. Like all the characters, at least in the live action, are really fleshed out, and they're really well. It's really cool. So I highly recommend One Piece.
Okay.
I really want. I'm going to get into this. I don't think I'll buy all 30 of them, but
yeah.
But
what label puts that out?
This here.
Yeah.
It's Funimation.
Oh, Funimation. Okay.
4K Tent Rival.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm interested in watching a couple episodes later of this. This slipcover and stuff, it actually looks pretty nice. Yeah, this is just DVD because I looked for it on Blu-ray, and like I think the later series are in Blu-ray, but I couldn't find any of the. It's probably available in Japan on Blu-ray.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But the thing is what I like every time I buy anime on Blu-ray, I always like sometimes I just want kind of the updated set, but one thing I always find is the visually they're not much better than the DVDs. Like animation just don't translate up much with a DVD transfer. I don't know if or with a Blu-ray transfer. I don't know if you've had that experience, Mike. Now I've seen some real well done.
Yeah.
Like the Ghost in the Shell where it was shot on film, it was a movie. That 4K transfer was phenomenal. It looked amazing. Yeah. And to some degree, Akira did as well. Akira, they had that disc screw up, and they never did send me a replacement disc. It was 4K, but they didn't put it on a UHD disc or something. It was It was like the 4K. They screwed up the disc, and they were supposed to replace it. And I sent in my proof of purchase, and then they quit responding to my emails and never sent me a replacement disc.
Man,
Pissed me off.
Yeah, I think I got that Akira, but I have the DVD of it. It came out some years back. I mean, I got on that Laserdisc, the Criterion Laserdisc too, but
yeah,
I thought it looked okay. I mean, it didn't seem as sharp on that DVD, but because you can totally tell it's shot on film. You know, you got all the specs and little stuff. You know,
yeah.
So yeah.
Some definitely do, but I find like the television stuff, because I like that Robotech I was showing you guys. I have it on DVD, and I bought that Blu-ray, and I didn't think the Blu-ray was the sound was phenomenally good, but the picture I didn't think was much of an upgrade from the DVDs. But I haven't watched them side by side, and I hadn't watched Robotech in a while. But
yeah,
the colors were brighter. I agree. It was that. But overall, like most of the time when animation is transferred up, it's kind of like special effects. Like whenever it's usually rendered in like a lower definition. It's usually when it's rendered, that's where it sticks at. You can't really upgrade it like you can film, like live action film. It's usually like if a movie shot in like a special effects, like a Marvel movie, like they'll usually render it to 1080. So whenever they transfer it up to 4K, it don't really transfer up because it's stuck in 1080. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can only go so much more, sharper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to have that set I bought with Robotech because it's a nice set, and it's a more condensed set. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know a few animes and stuff, mostly older ones, but my kids are really
Thanks
into
for stopping
anime
in.
and stuff. So.
Leaving a comment, appreciate it. Oh, I didn't bring it up there. Yeah, thanks 4K Tent Revival stopping by. Definitely watch that movie.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah, Needful Things.
Yeah. What else we got tonight? What else do we got? Yeah, I picked that up today too, Mike.
Joyride.
The Joyride. This is funny. You guys got to check that out as well. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I picked this up last week whenever we were looking through somebody we were talking about. I can't remember who it was but I came across this movie and I found it on Blu-ray. This is a Kevin Bacon movie. Kevin Bacon, Jennifer Jason Leigh, J.T. Walsh, Martin Short, Terry Hatcher. It's called The Big Picture. Have you guys seen this?
Long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, that's like late 80s, I think.
Yeah,
89 or something.
It looked like it had an interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be checking that out here soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bad right now watching movies. I don't know. I haven't really been doing anything. I go through a little bit of a lull certain times of year where I don't watch as much, and then I watch them heavy for a while, and then
yeah. I've gotten off track a little bit this week. I've just been like skipping movie altogether and going to sleep. I usually watch them at night and stuff, and I've just been like, I'll skip it tonight. But I generally try to watch one movie a week or every night. I mean, so that's something. So
yeah, I try to, but sometimes I get bad and have a day or two where I don't watch something. Yeah. It's kind of weird, where I personally, I don't think any of us actually work. I think we're all in the same situation with it. But it's kind of weird when you do it. I mean, I know Mike has, I can't speak to everybody's responsibilities, but I know you have kids, you have more responsibilities. But I don't have a lot of responsibilities, and I still find myself sometimes not. It just don't feel like it seems like the day goes by fast, or it's kind of weird. Most people dream of, well, if I don't work a job, how lovely it would be, and it is nice for a period of time, and it's not bad. It's it's not a bad thing. It's just it's not as glorious as people think it is.
Yeah, no.
It'd be glorious if I won the lottery and had like
Yeah.
millions of dollars. Yeah, it would be
Mhm.
glorious, and I could do anything I wanted to. But like in my condition and stuff, I can't really go anywhere. Well, I mean, I can go locally, but I can't go on vacations. I can't really do stuff like that. So I'm kind of stuck in, within a 3 or 4 hour range, and
Mhm.
where I can go. So it's like, it kind of gets, it kind of gets boring sometimes, but I don't
Yeah.
find myself watching movies or reading books like I should be. You think, well, I
Mhm.
have all this time, you should do this, but you just
Yeah.
don't, just
Yeah.
don't do it.
I'm the same way. I always seem like I have something to do during the day. It's like I'm always
Yeah.
busy, and then at night I try to, relax, and that's when I relax
Yeah.
for the day and watch a movie or something. But yeah, like to watch a movie at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon would be very hard for me to just sit myself down. I seem like I stay busy, for some reason. I'm one of those people, just
Yeah.
always have to be doing something, keep busy, doing something.
Yeah. I don't, you know, it's not so much like that. I do have things I do during the week, like I mow grass for my grandmother, things like that. I just don't. I don't know. I feel maybe guilty about like my favorite time to watch is either in the morning or late at night. If I get up early, I'll watch something. But if I
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I sleep later and my schedule stays all screwed up,
Mm-hmm.
and like after we get off here, I like to sit down and watch something. But I don't know. I'll probably end up watching like that one anime there, that One Piece, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But yeah, not to get off on too much talking
But
about that. But
yeah,
it's just
yeah. But yeah, I totally know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah. I picked this up as well. This is something I had to order from. Um, I ordered this off of eBay, I believe. But this is Black Books. It's a British series.
Never
Hmm.
heard of it.
Black books.
Yeah, it's a Greg Linehan did this. He did uh, he did a show called Father Ted, and then he did the show. If most people are familiar with the show, um, well, on tip of my tongue, it's the IT Crowd. If people are familiar with that, it played
Mm-hmm.
on. It might be some people say it's the It Crowd, but it's like the IT Crowd. That's a funny. They're British comedy, so just very funny. Father Ted's hysterical, and
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some of this. I don't think I've seen all 3 seasons of it, but it's real. He's uh, makes some really great British television.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only British comedy show that I really got into, me and my mom used to watch, was Keeping Up Appearances.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely love that show, and it's just like. But I do like. I recommend Wallander, Kenneth Branagh series,
Oh yeah.
Swedish cop series,
Yeah. I think you were
and
talking about that last week
yeah,
a
I
little
might have
bit.
been talking about it. I was
Yeah.
talking about it to our pastor today, and it was just like I really enjoy that series. But
Father
there's like,
Ted.
unless you have like Alcorn, I think that's it, Alcorn TV. There's not like a
A-
lot of
Acorn.
British Acorn. I'm
Acorn.
sorry. Okay. Uh, what did I say? Alcorn State, the football team. Um, yeah, if you have the Acorn, you can watch a lot of the British ones. But the one
Hmm.
that I want to watch, that one of my friends told me about, was Broadchurch with David Tennant. That's
Mm-hmm.
not on there. So, and these British seasons are like really tough to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bunch. I actually got a bunch here. I can't. I've got Keeping Up Appearances somewhere too, but
Oh,
that
okay,
shows.
yeah.
That shows. I think it's funny. I think the funniest part of it is like the sister, like the brother-in-law,
Rose. Oh
Rose. Yeah,
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 Oslo and yeah,
yeah,
Oslo and Daisy.
yeah. Yeah, they're if you guys have never seen that show, it's about like a basically a man and a woman, and like the woman's like real like uppity and like thinks she's like high
The queen.
class.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like high class British person, and like her husband just works like a normal government job. He's nothing special, and she their last name is Bucket, like it's spelled like bucket. And like when people and when anybody says Mrs. Bucket, she's like, it's bouquet. And it's kind of repetitive, like a lot of British comedies, but
It's
it's
sort of like
funny.
Three's Company. Kind of, you know the situation they're going to get into, and it has funny results.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, but it's funny though. It's like but like he's talks about Oslo and Rose, or like her. It's like what's her name?
She's Hyacinth. Hyacinth and Richard are,
Hyacinth.
yeah.
Yeah. And Richard he's just this poor like
beat down.
Beat down. Yeah. Like everybody tries to avoid her, like all of her neighbors try to avoid her constantly. And the mailman's always trying to like sneak up to give her a mail. She always opens the door on him when she's.
Yeah, and she always like, mind your shoes. So the mailman has to take off his shoes to go in the house for something. It's just so funny.
But she's so like she's a snob basically. She's got her nose stuck up at everybody. But her sister and her husband they're like rednecks, and they live in like this
rundown flat.
Yeah, there's crappy. It's got like a broke down car in the front yard where a dog's sleeping in and always barks at her when it's just funny. And like she's got two sisters. Her other sister lives there as well, and she's like she's always wearing like slutty clothes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
always sleeping around with older men.
She wears dresses just basically to her crotch with these long legs and stuff, and she's and she sleeps with like every neighborhood guy. It's just like funny. And the father, he has like Alzheimer's disease, and he's like this like little skinny old guy, sort of like the old Benny Hill guy that used to run around with Benny Hill, and he's like always like in something, like he thinks it's the war again, so he's got a hat like pedaling on a bike, through the neighborhood or something, and it's just like, oh, we have to get Daddy, Richard. We have to get Daddy. You know.
I don't think you ever see him though, do you?
Who, the father?
Do you ever see? Yeah, like the dad. Yeah, her dad.
Yeah,
the oldest. Do you see him ever?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
He's the one that's like usually pedaling around. Like one time they went to. She went to like a BMW place and stuff, and Richard's going, Hyacinth, we can't afford this, and she's like, going around. He's like driving a car, and this is like, he goes, this would take me 20 years to pay off for this car, and she's like, mind the road, Richard, mind the road. It's just, Mike, the situation. It's usually on PBS on the weekends.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny because just the stupid stuff. Like, she wanted to have this. Her thing is like candlelight suppers, with the dishes and stuff like that. And she'll like tell you what kind of china she's putting on for the guests and stuff like that. And it's just so funny. And the vicar runs away from her. Her minister.
Yeah.
Runs away from her, oh, Vicar,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I have seen it a little bit on PBS. Yeah. Like it comes on like Saturdays or something.
Yeah. And the funniest episode, there's a 2-parter, and it was their Christmas special apparently, is when they go on to the QE2, the Queen Elizabeth II ship, and they think Onslow and she thinks Onslow and Daisy are stowaways on this cruise ship, and here he won a contest for writing in stuff. So she's going. They're like at the captain's table and stuff like that, and she goes, "Look, Richard, the stowaways. Oh, we gotta save them." It's just so stupid, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes repetitive TV shows, if it's good, it works. That's because that's how Green Acres is. Green Acres is it's really the similar setup with every show, but it's just something about it. It's just good, it
Yeah.
just works.
It's
Yeah.
classic
Yeah.
sitcom.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
all it's all the characters, the character actors and stuff. It's just really
Well,
good.
and the thing is a lot of those shows they weren't when they were made, they weren't meant to be, you know, they weren't meant to be watched back to back. They weren't,
Mhm.
they were meant to be watched one at a time, like 1 week apart or however they were in Britain, but like in America they were, they weren't meant to be binged like on Netflix. They were and
Mhm.
they're good. They're great binging them. I love binging like Green Acres. But back in the day, like you may not think about that so much when you're watching them a week apart.
Mhm.
You can,
Yeah.
you can, you watch probably had other shows you watched, and then by the time that came back around, you didn't really think about it being the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was like Batman. I was like, that only ran for I think 3 seasons, right? Batman, the Adam
yeah,
West Batman.
Yeah.
But
It
yeah,
wasn't
like,
very long.
but one season had 37 episodes. So
Yeah.
if you think about it, it was on most of the year.
yeah,
There's only 52 weeks in a year, so like, it's kind of amazing because like when I watched it in the 70s and it was just like, it was on every afternoon back to back, same
yeah,
bat
Mhm.
time, same bat channel,
Mhm.
but you don't realize that. And then when you take a deep dive into shows, it was like same with like the Munsters. Munsters weren't on that long, but they did like 40 shows a year.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, they shows stayed like that up until probably the late 60s before they started cutting them back to like 20, 23, 24 episodes a season.
Right.
They were, they were like that, especially the 50s and 60s, like those early Gunsmokes and stuff. Like there's so many seasons of that, but then there's like on top of it, like 33, 34 episodes a season to watch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a lot to watch. That's why I haven't watched every single episode of Gunsmoke. I own it, and I haven't
Mhm.
watched all of it. It's just so much of it because it is one of those shows. It's like it's really good, but if you watch several of them in a row, you kind of get tired of it, because it's going to be kind of a similar thing,
Mhm.
you know. But it's like a bit, but you can almost watch it at any point and like pick back up on it, and it's still good.
Mhm. John, do you have the Kung Fu series? The Robert David Carradine Kung
Yeah,
Fu. You got
yeah.
that one? Yeah.
I don't know where it's at though.
I think a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about TV series, I forgot to mention that one. I usually put that on some late nights and put that
Oh,
on.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
I
on
don't.
got it here.
Redbox. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one I got. Yeah.
I think I've watched a couple episodes of that. I'm not like very, versed in that one.
Yeah. Which it's kind of
It's good.
similar to like what John was saying. Like every episode is not the same, but he kind of, he comes across something and he kind of,
Yeah.
it kind of works out the same way most of the time, but
Yeah.
it's entertaining.
Yeah. Those are those type of shows are fun to, you can just kind of throw any of them in at any time. It's not necessarily any continuity in the show.
Mm-mm. No. I think there was like a 2-part episode or the pilot episode, I think was kind of like that or something, but yeah,
Yeah.
he just gets into a different situation, somewhere else. So
You know what I watched because we were talking about this last week, Mike, and you had me kind of like, oh, I got to check that out. I watched on Max Wonder Woman,
oh, okay.
the series Wonder Woman. Man,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize how corny that was. You
Oh,
know,
it's on. Oh, the what's her
the
name?
one, yeah, the Linda Carter Wonder
Linda
Woman's
Carter.
on Max.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so I started watching it, and it's like, wow, was it? And I was like, I remember when I was 7 when I was watching it, and it was just like, this is the greatest show like ever.
Hmm.
And it was just like I'm watching it, and it's like 54-year-old me sitting here going, how the hell did my mom sit through the shows that we watched when we were kids? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And it's
yeah.
just like, because she would just get joy out of seeing us, like, like laughing, like being, especially like on Friday nights, because you had back to back on Friday nights. You had Incredible Hulk and then the Dukes of Hazzard.
Mhm.
You know, back to
Yeah.
back in the like late 70s, early 80s, and then
Yeah.
you know, and then it was Mom's time with Dallas. You know,
Yeah,
so it was
Dallas.
just
Yeah.
like Dallas and Falcon Crest. Remember those shows?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess when you're like 7 and you have only like 3 channels, back then, anything that would come on, you'd get excited.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it was probably silly, and looking back at it now, it's silly, but then it was probably exciting, to a little kid, because it's like, woo.
yeah.
Because I love the Dukes of Hazzard and stuff. I
Oh, I
remember that.
still do. I think it's
Yeah,
basically like a life version of Roadrunner and Coyote.
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much chasing and
Yeah, cool cars. Daisy
yeah.
Duke. I mean, when you see her when you're 8,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to try to get that series before it's completely canceled and erased from the earth or something. you
I
know.
bought it on
He-
eBay for $30.
Oh,
I
cool.
got a great
Yeah,
deal
you
on
can
that.
find it really cheap on eBay. I was the same way. Like Walmart was selling it. I think they were selling it for like 70, $80, I believe, when it first
Mm.
came out. And like, so I got on eBay and it was half that. It wasn't as cheap as it was like 40, 35, $40 or something.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
you just have to.
I was gonna say I have seen it at Walmart, and it's really kind of, well, I think it's about $50 or more. I think the last time I looked, but yeah.
Have you guys heard this movie coming out called Outlaw Johnny Black?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So it's
Is
like
it,
kind of like a black exploitation western.
yeah, I've heard of. There was a couple of them.
It's one called Black Dynamite. I don't think I've seen that. That's who made this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really liked Black Dynamite. I thought that was really funny.
I know there's a series on Paramount Plus that's coming out. I think it's Paramount Plus. I seen it during the Eagles game on Sunday with Tyler Sheridan, the guy from uh, Yellowstone, is doing it with David Aiello. I think that's his name. He's got like a weird name, but it's sort of like it looks like
Yeah.
a black version of Walker Texas Ranger.
Hmm.
I was trying to see upcoming releases, and I don't hardly see anything at all. Like anything, I mean, that's coming out like Haunting in Venice. I don't know much about this. Oh yeah, that's that one that's got Tina Fey in it. Oh yeah, that's actually I kind of want to see that. It's a Poirot movie. Have you guys? Which I didn't like the last one that came out. The
Yeah, I haven't. I've
Yeah, I
missed
have.
those.
It's got Poirot, but it's like kind of looks like a horror movie mixed into it.
Hmm.
So I'm not familiar with that Poirot story. I don't know if this is newly made up or it comes from. I'd say I say it's an old storyline, but it kind of looks interesting. Except for Tina Fey being in it. I don't know why I don't. Tina Fey's just she's so funny in some of the stuff she did, but I don't know. I just kind of got tired of her, I guess.
Yeah, she's kind of take her or leave her sometimes.
Yeah.
She was good in Murders in a Building, the second season of Murders in a Building with Steve Martin and Martin Short. That
Okay.
was like my niece got me into that show because she was a big fan of Selena Gomez, and I said to her, "Oh, is she new?" And she was like, "Uncle Kenny, no," and I'm like, I don't know anything about these like new girls or anything like that, and now I'm just like captivated by her because she's so good on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, I seriously never heard of her before that this show because I was like, oh, she's new, and she's like,
She's in the Dead Don't Die.
oh, okay,
Yeah, she's like she don't have a big part. She's like one of those teenagers that are staying at the hotel at the beginning of the movie.
oh,
They
okay,
they
yeah,
they, they drive up. They're like I think they stop at like the gas station and and then she's one of those. She's one of the
Oh,
girls.
okay. See, I didn't know her, so it was just like, I just thought she was just like an extra or something, that they cast in it. I had no idea.
I don't really. I obviously didn't watch any of those. I didn't watch any of those like Nickelodeon shows. She was on one of them a long time ago, but I didn't watch that stuff. I didn't know that. It's like the other girl. What's her name? Shit.
The only
She's
Disney I
big.
know, Jessie, the Disney show. That played all the time. My nieces loved that show, like
Ari-
repetitive.
Ariana Grande. She was on like one or two of those
She's a
shows back
singer,
in the
right?
day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I know Ariana Grande is because I used to watch Big Brother in the summer
Oh
times.
yeah, her brother was on that, right?
Yeah.
Frankie, is that
Frankie.
was his
Yep.
name? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her
Yeah.
brother, I think it's her half brother or something like that. But he was on there, and I was like, I had no idea that she was because I never watched any of that. I may when I was a kid, I may have watched like all that a little bit, some of those shows, but like there's a lot of shows that spawned out of that was created by that Dan Snyder, the guy that's like the like notorious Dan Snyder that's been he's
Yeah.
accused of like having doing things to children or possibly having involvement in that kind of
He was
stuff.
on Head of the Class, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
he was.
guy.
Yeah, he was in that. Shit, he was in Better Off Dead. He's the fat kid.
Oh, yeah.
The next door neighbor that
Yeah.
the Diane Franklin's the French girl she's living
Yeah.
with, and he keeps trying to thinks he's
Oh
her
yeah.
girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
Ricky.
him.
Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky.
Yeah, and
Ricky.
yeah,
The language of love.
and yeah, he's like kind of like a notorious creeper, but he had all these weird scenes like that's the only reason I know anything about all these because I do watch the YouTube videos that kind of they do like little mini documentaries about what happened during these shows like and that's why I know some of the people but like he had a bunch of scenes like see he first he did like all that but he got kind of when he first kind of broke away on his own was like the Amanda show with Amanda Bynes if you remember her which the Amanda show is actually funny if you watch it she was really talented I do own that I did go back and watch that because that was kind of on in the era when I was like early 20s so it was something it's not creepy to go back and rewatch I find it just weird to go back and watch some of these at my age to watch some of these shows because one, I don't have much interest in it but he has a bunch of scenes and stuff where he's got like these girls and just with feet, like he's got feet scenes with people doing weird things with feet. And like the shows are like kind of they got more of a sexual overtone than a children's show should have sometimes, has kind of crazy stuff. Yeah. But he has a bunch of scenes with feet in them. He has a foot fetish for sure because he has them doing weird things. Like one scene, I think it is Ariana Grande. I'm not sure if it's her or the other person, but she's like pouring ketchup on her feet, doing something like that. Weird. It's
weird.
Strange.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to go down that road, but sometimes it happened. Oh, but I did see here September 22nd, Expendables 4 comes out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah.
It lives inside, stop making sense, the origin of evil, relax, I'm from the future. I don't know what that is. Creepers are us.
Girl, that's all coming out on the DVD or Blu-ray?
No, this is the theater.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Because I was just going to say, when did I fall asleep or something and miss Expendables 4 in the theater?
Yeah,
I like that series. I think they're fun movies.
Yeah, I was just reading through some of the stuff coming out here. The 29th, Saw 10 comes out. Saw X.
Oh wow.
Let's see. I can't wait. I'm riveted. I can't wait for Paw Patrol, the Mighty movie, to come out. I can't wait for that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Paw Patrol.
Get your tickets now, Mike. They might be sold out.
I know.
Well, it probably will be for kids. I wouldn't doubt it. I've
Yeah,
never
'cause-
I don't
seen Paw
think
Patrol, but I
I
know
don't
about
think
it.
I don't think parents take their kids to the movies anymore unless it's like a big Disney movie, you know. And
Yeah.
they didn't really go see the Little Mermaid, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, they don't want politics preached at them from Disney.
Well, when you're a little kid, you don't know that, you know. That's my thing, you know. I don't think a 8 or 9 year old, you know, is worrying about woke things. I didn't
Yeah,
even
but
know what
they
the
don't.
hell
Yeah,
woke
but no,
was.
but they don't need to be seeing, any sexuality on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Whether
That's-
either way, So that's what some of those movies were pushing.
Yeah.
You know,
Little Mermaid was?
no, well, not so much that, but that one you were talking about earlier. That's on your that's on your Disney list.
Oh, Elemental.
Yeah, that one kind of does, and then that other one that came out last year, that space movie that came out was
Oh,
heavily pushing.
Lightyear.
So no, well that was that
Mhm.
one definitely
Lightyear.
was,
Mhm.
and that other one was as well. There was another one that came out last year. They all flopped because they'd all had
Yeah.
was pushing. I don't, because I don't personally care about the gay agenda or stuff, or I don't want any sexuality being in anything below, like something for kids below 13.
No, that's what
Mhm.
I was
Anything
thinking to
teenager
myself. I
above.
didn't know. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. You know.
Yeah.
Of course,
I mean, I
movies
just happen to
have.
watch.
I can't be naive. Movies have always had stuff in it. Kissing or something like that. I don't think. I just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah. It's
you know,
it don't need to be, pushed on little kids. I think
yeah,
that should be, you know, kids grow up too fast as it is,
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Let them be kids.
yeah, we got plenty of time for that.
Yeah. Before you joined us, Mike, we were talking about like I'm in the Disney movie club, and the newest one was Elemental that was coming out soon.
Oh, okay.
That's why we're talking about that. And it's like I said to John, I don't know with like the rut of like Disney movies. I don't know what they're going to come out with soon. You know, like
Mhm.
are they just going to re-release like Big Bear on 4K or something like that, and
Yeah.
have that as the monthly,
Well,
selection?
did you hear about the big one? I think they just announced it yesterday. It's going to be like $1,000. A huge Disney Blu-ray set.
Wow,
Yeah, I've seen
no, I
somebody
didn't hear
talking
that.
about that.
Yeah, it's got like 40 films or more or something. I know it's got like $1,000 price tag on it. That's all. I don't know much about it though.
Wow.
Yeah, because everybody was talking about, well, Disney has kind of turned their back on physical media, but now they're going to do this, so maybe it gives hope, because they are releasing like the Mandalorian and stuff like that finally
Yeah,
on video.
That's a
yeah.
crap I don't want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was saying to John about that. It was like because I like we grew up about the same time, and it was like the late like the 70s and 80s. Like
Hmm.
I like the Wonderful World of Disney movies, and
Hmm.
it's like you can't get those like on Blu-ray or anything like that.
Hmm.
And like if you can find them, because they only came out on VHS, basically a lot of them, and they don't even show
Hmm.
them on Disney Plus
Yeah.
because they're glutted with like all the Star Wars sequels and all the Marvel sequels and stuff like
Marvels and
that.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
they and the stuff that they were taking off were like Marca Zero, like something that that I enjoyed watching. But you
Mhm.
can't even get that on Blu-ray or DVD anymore. You
Yeah.
just have to pray that they release it sometime. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget how many Disney stuff there is, live action movies that they made in the 70s, 80s, and stuff. I forget about all those that,
Yeah.
like you're saying, there's not on video or anything. Or maybe on VHS, but
Yeah. Because I remember
That-
when we first got a VCR, we would just go and there was like a ton of Disney, old Disney movies, like from the 70s and 80s that we hadn't seen in a while. So Mom would just like go and get a glut of them, for us to
yeah,
watch.
yeah. I actually made a Disney live action movie the other day. It's got three movies that I remember from being a kid renting. Like there was a movie called The Watcher in the Woods.
Yes.
And like The Black Hole and Something Wicked This Way Comes or something like that. Those are the three I talk about, but they were all like early 80s, late 70s, early 80s kind of live action movies and stuff. But
yeah, there was one that they did years ago, and this is another one you can't find. I had got it from Netflix, and that's when, at the point my brother was burning the discs, was Max Dugan Returns.
oh, okay,
with Jason Robards, and it's the first movie with Kiefer Sutherland because his dad's in it with Marsha Mason.
Yeah,
and that's the first time. That's the first time I ever seen Matthew Broderick in a movie too.
Yeah, I definitely remember watching that as a kid. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I just remember that because he, Max Dugan, he's like a bank robber, and he comes back and he basically buys Matthew Broderick every Atari game that came out at that time. And it was like, Mom, don't we have any relatives like this? That can buy us like all these Atari games.
Yeah.
I was just looking like at I've never seen kind of a bleak period for like the theatrical releases. There's just nothing much coming out. I mean, there's stuff coming out like the 29th. We got Saw, and there's movies that, but I don't know a lot about them. The Kill Room, it's got Sam Jackson in it, Uma Thurman.
I wonder
that might be good.
I wonder what the big holiday movies are going to be this year with the strike and everything going on.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mike.
Because that usually
Wonka
starts in
is
November.
one of them.
Oh,
Wonka. Yeah. But that's why I was looking. But like, that, I mean, there's going to be a couple movies here, but then it like, you get into October and then you got like The Exorcist and like, I guess there's a few things like, but some of this stuff I haven't even seen previews for, like Freelance. It's got Alison Brie. Alison Brie and Alice Eve. Yeah, I have seen. I have seen the preview for this. I'm sorry, but
I know
it's like an action movie.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, comedy. Yeah, I have seen this. That might be something I see, but it just after this, it just kind of gets a little bit bleak. There's not a lot coming out.
Kenneth Branagh one that he's playing Perot again. That's coming out soon.
That's what I just talked about earlier.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know the title. I just seen the. I literally just seen the preview, but I didn't catch the title.
It's The Haunting in Venice. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, John.
This one right here.
Yeah. Branagh is one of my favorite actors. He, because he can direct. Like he directed this one also. So,
but I didn't like the last Poirot movie he did though, which would have been the first one he did. For some reason I just didn't like that movie very much.
Oh, I liked them both.
So see, I like Johnny Depp a lot better. See, that's one of those roles Johnny Depp got kicked away from because of Amber Shithead. So Amber Turd.
Yeah.
And I thought he was good as Perot. I like him better than Branagh, but Branagh's good, but I like Johnny Depp as well in that role. But I don't know. But that's not the reason I didn't like it. I just didn't really like that movie, which I've seen. I've got to own a bunch of the originals as well.
Yeah, I really want to see Killers of the Flower Moon, the new Martin Scorsese movie. I want to try to definitely go to the theater and try to check that one out.
Oh yeah. Five Nights at Freddy's is coming out too.
Yeah,
I think I want to see that a little bit.
Yeah. My boys they want to see that too. they kind of grew up when they were little with those games when it first started. You know, the
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. So they're kind of.
Oh yeah, I'd seen preview for this Priscilla. It's like now they made it like a Priscilla movie biopic after they made Elvis.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it actually kind of looked pretty good. As long as it don't run well, I don't really, it doesn't matter if it runs Elvis down or not. Actually, there's a new series. I was going to mention this on Netflix. I found last night. I guess it just came out, but it's called Agent Elvis. It's a animation, and it was created by Priscilla and another guy. But it's got Matthew McConaughey doing Elvis's voice, and Johnny Knoxville's in there, and
Okay.
yeah, it was pretty funny. I thought it's pretty good. It has she's on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Not
Kristen Olsen.
no, it's not Kristen. It is Olsen, but is it Mary? Yeah, but it's that girl that's on Caitlin Olsen. Excuse me, Caitlin Olsen.
Caitlin.
You're close. It's Caitlin
Yeah.
Olsen, and she does a voice, but her character's like this. Like it's basically him. Like it starts out in like the late '60s, like kind of at the peak of his at his comeback era when he was still thin, not fat. And it's like him, being like a undercover agent. And basically, he gets recruited into this, organization to be like an undercover agent. But her character's like this, and she's like always there. She's like she's like she she's basically like the lead agent over him, and like she's always kind of running him down though. Always, she doesn't like it. It is funny, but he's always like taking shots at his music and stuff, and it's kind of funny. But it's all sometimes there's something a little off about it. But I've watched most of it though. It's got some funny stuff in it, and I think Johnny Knoxville plays like his Elvis is supposed to be like one of his friends, but he's not in the Memphis Mafia. He won't let him in the Memphis Mafia. But he's like kind of like a redneck guy, but he's good. He flies planes, and he's like his driver and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but he's like really funny, and he's also got like a one of his pet apes, like Elvis's pet apes, is there. But he's like always wanting to do drugs and always smoking weed, and but it's like it's kind of brutal. It's a funny show. It's pretty funny for the most part. I just think the woman's kind of leading him around a little bit. It's kind of one of those things you see a lot anymore, like in Marvel movies, where the woman's always like she's got to be in charge of the man type situation. The girl boss is what they say.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she kind of screws up here and there, and she's kind of it's funny for the most part. Like the first episode, they got to go after like Charles Manson and the Manson gang and the Manson family. Yeah, the Marvels comes out November 10th, and that'll bomb.
Yeah.
The Hunger Games. There's stuff coming out, but what I was getting at is like there don't seem like there's a lot coming out. There's not like 2 or 3 movies a weekend. There's like one here, and then there's not much for a week or two, and then there's another. There's not a lot that's motivating me to go week after week like I like to do. Like go see one movie a week. There's not enough out there to necessarily do that.
Well, I heard Thanksgiving is supposed to be a pretty good horror movie. And then Napoleon, that's going to be the new Ridley Scott movie.
That looks fantastic, Mike.
Yeah, Napoleon.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I have seen the previews for this.
I read, I think it was Hollywood Reporter, that Scott's going to put out a 5-hour cut of that.
Wow.
So that ought to be really, because what's that coming in at, John? Napoleon, time wise?
I'll have to look at it.
Oh, okay. I thought it said underneath of it. He said there was a 5-hour cut, and Scott wants to put it out.
It's like 2.5 hours.
Oh, is it 2.5? Oh, okay.
I think 2:38. I think.
Yep, 2:38.
Yeah,
Oh,
2:38.
okay. But that
Yeah.
really looks good. I did see that, but I did not know when it was coming out. I assumed near Christmas. You know.
Yeah, I remember Stanley Kubrick wanted to make Napoleon for the longest time. So I wonder if it's based on a similar script or anything, or I guess it's probably a new script, but
My lord, how old's Ridley Scott now? He's got to be in his 70s, right?
yeah, he's in his, I think, late 70s. Yeah, he's
Good
getting up
God,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's a few more things than I thought. This sounds interesting. It's Godzilla -1. I'm a big Godzilla fan.
So am I, John.
So
I know
don't
Apple's coming out with. I had put on my Instagram page the new Apple show because me and Sean were talking about that too. Because Sean's like, I guess I gotta subscribe to get my free preview of Apple to watch the whole series. You know.
What is it going to be?
I'll tell you in a second. Let me look that up.
Movie looks like that'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's called. It's a spin-off of the Godzilla. It's called Monarch Legacy of the Monsters.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Is it
coming
live
only,
action or is it
that
animated?
they only have you probably can't see it here, but they only have the movie poster on there.
Yeah, this Godzilla -1 or IO here. I think it's supposed to be -1 on the preview here. It looks really freaking good. It's Japanese made too, so I don't know if
Is Toho put it now?
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Let me see who directed that.
Looks like some pretty cool effects.
Because
Yeah.
did you ever see Shin Godzilla?
Yes. I was just talking about that to somebody this morning. I like that movie a lot.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah.
The guy did the guy directed the anime series called Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's
Did you
really
see that one, Mike?
crazy.
Shin Godzilla?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to see what else this guy's done. I thought he might have been the same director. It's a different director. Yeah, this looks really good though. It looks well done.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the preview there running, but it looks good.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll be wide released everywhere. It may not be since it's Japanese, you know.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be hard for me to see it unless the Kentucky gets it.
Yeah.
That'd be when I drive maybe to Louisville to go see or something. Just in a good theater. Yeah, that looks good. No, it's just Godzilla, Shin Godzilla. It's just actually kind of very terrifying Godzilla. That's what I liked about it. It's like a very different kind of. It's like a.
Wasn't
pretty
cartoonish.
wild.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking that up, Mike. It looks like it's like $25 on Amazon. I got it like on a Black Friday special. I think I paid $3.99 for it.
Oh, okay.
What is that?
Shin Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of it. I need to check it out.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's not streaming anywhere either because I looked that one up too.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that I recommend that if you can find that like at like a Goodwill or something like that. Because I know Walmart was selling it for a while, like on DVD. I think that's where my buddy Bryce picked that up on the DVD, and it just happened to be on Black Friday sale for like $3.99. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll have to check it out.
It's really a throwback. It's not like believe me, I like the Godzilla versus Kong and all that, but that's like a real throwback to the old ones,
Oh wow! Check this out. I don't know if there's a movie called The Iron Claw. So this true story of the inseparable Von Erich brothers.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, yeah.
Zach Efron, Jeremy Allen Watt, and Harris Dickinson.
Yeah, that might be a good one too.
Who directed this? Sean
Usually
Durkin.
Usually the wrestling biographies are pretty good. You know,
Yeah.
they do a good job and stay true to it.
That'd be very interesting. That's just a good story anyway.
Yeah, it's got a good
Huh.
story going for it.
Maxwell Friedman's playing Lance Von Erich. Is he in this up here? No.
Yeah, Mike, do you know the backstory with that family?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's really cool.
You know who that is, don't you? Maxwell Friedman in AEW.
Oh yeah, MJF.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in the movie too?
Yeah. He
Oh,
says
wow.
he's playing Lance Von Erich, which I don't know who that is. I don't know that deep into their history. I don't know if it's one of the other brothers or.
Yeah, I know Michael Carey and David, they were like the main brothers. And then Fritz was the dad that basically owned. You should listen to that Jim Cornette podcast when he talks about the Von Erichs, man. Some of that shit that happened down in Texas was unbelievable with them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Kerry Von Erich, Mike? The Texas tornado. Do you remember the Texas tornado in the WWF?
Yeah, I believe so. Briefly, yeah.
Yeah, I did. When I was a kid, I had no idea that he actually he got in was it a motorcycle accident?
I think so. Yeah, he got in a wreck and
lost his foot. He was wrestling.
Yeah, and then they just like had all this problems. The family just all this stuff kept happening to him, and
every one of them committed suicide except for the one brother that's still alive now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a very interesting story.
Which one's still alive? Is it David?
David.
Yeah.
Because they were all supposed to be like the next big thing. Yeah. You know, Michael was the youngest one, and I think after Kerry passed away, he went and shot himself. While his mom was like making dinner or something. It's just such a tragic.
Yeah.
I watched I remember like in the 80s growing up, and it was like that was like the big thing, the Von Erichs and the Freebirds down in Texas and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it. I think this is on Tubi too, Mike. Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh yeah,
the Von Erich story.
Yeah,
man, I watched that, and it's like I had no idea, you know. Mm-hmm. And the old man basically had every judge, every cop, every official, like in his pocket, like down in Texas. That's how powerful he was, because they called him the governor.
Yeah, I watched that. That was really good. Yeah, Dark Side of the Ring. There's a bunch of good episodes on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It comes out. When did I say it came out? It came out. It says December 25th, I think.
Oh, so that's a Christmas release now. Wow.
Wait a minute. No, 22nd. 22nd.
Well, still, that's a Christmas week release. So
I
guess they're looking for Oscar buzz for that.
Yeah, must be. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen the previews for. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, that's okay. I'm just thinking to myself, thinking of Oscar buzz. What movie out there do you consider anything Oscar worthy that came out this year?
Oh gosh, I bet you anything Barbie will get.
Oh yeah,
probably. Oppenheimer for sure. I'd probably get some.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this sounds pretty good too. This is probably be an indie movie. It doesn't have a cast, but it's called Lost Weekend. It says his marriage and his band is falling apart. John Lennon recruits comedian Albert Brooks and musician Harry Nilsson for a raucous 24-hour journey through 1973 Los Angeles to try to save his lost album and himself. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. Here, that's pretty. Yeah. You guys ever listen to Harry Nilsson?
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of good songs.
But there's nothing. What's weird? There's nothing. There's a release date, but there's no There's like no actor listing or no director. So, there's a director. Excuse me, Francis Karachi. Karachi. I don't know how you pronounce it. Karachi. So I don't know. It sounds good, but it's probably like an indie release.
Yeah.
That's what sucks about living around here. Well, luckily where I'm at, where Kenny is, you probably have access to indie theaters and stuff like that that plays a lot of this stuff, but we don't. I don't. Louisville has a couple more.
I remember before there used to be. Now I don't know if there is in Center City or not, because now with like crime, the crime in Philly is like very bad, and they used to have a Ritz 5 theater where you used to go see art house movies. So I don't know how prevalent that is now, especially like with streaming. Because I told you, I don't know, Mike, if I told you or not, when we went to see Guardians the first weekend that came out. Okay, my family went, and we were the only 7 people in the whole movie theater.
Oh wow!
Until like about 5 minutes till, and then I'm not kidding you, there was maybe 20 people on a Saturday night at 9 o'clock. Now, remember when on Saturday nights, like in the 80s and 90s, those movie places were packed. You had kids in the arcade, you had people at the concession stands. There was literally nobody in there, and I was shocked because that was like my first movie that I had went to since I seen Cars 2 in the movie theater.
Well, I would even say 10, 15 years ago, even, people probably went to the movies more, than now, I would say.
I mean, that was an event when I was a kid, because we used to go every Saturday, to the movies to see what was out, because we didn't have a VCR at the time. So it was like if we wanted to see a movie, you went to the movies, and I think they were at that time it was like $2.25, to go.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, I think you guys about ready to wrap it up tonight.
Yeah, whenever you are.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think I'm about ready to wrap it up this evening and get on down the road. You guys are ready to go?
Yeah, I think so.
Had a good time as usual.
And absolutely.
It's always good talking to you guys.
Thanks for everybody stopping by, whoever been watching early on, and yep. I just got to run out of steam this evening. I think this if you guys want to, we can just kind of send movies to watch next week. Is there anything anybody wants to watch for next week's show?
I don't know. I'm gonna try to catch up on those ones I've missed for sure. Okay. At least the Jennifer Lawrence movie for sure.
Yeah, definitely the Jennifer Lawrence movie you got to watch, Mike. Okay. I really recommend that a lot.
Okay. Yeah, that's my goal. I'm gonna watch that one.
Yeah,
cool.
I have like a bunch on Tubi, but I don't know any that I really want to see.
Yeah, I've just been popping in stuff to watch and this and that, but I'm gonna check that out.
We'll just try to figure out some stuff throughout the week that we all can get access to.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
And well, everybody, appreciate you guys stopping around this evening. I think we're going to get out of here and call it an evening. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Later, everybody.